Good morning. Today we will start with refrigeration cycles. A major application area of thermodynamics is refrigeration, which is transfer of heat from a lower temperature region to a higher temperature one. Devices that produce refrigeration are called refrigerators, and the cycles on which they operate are called refrigeration cycles. The most frequently used refrigeration cycle is vapor compression refrigeration cycle, in which the refrigerant is vaporized and condensed alternately and is compressed in vapor phase. Also, well-known refrigeration cycle is gas refrigeration cycle, in which refrigerant remains in the gaseous phase throughout. Other refrigeration cycles discussed in this chapter are cascade refrigeration, where more than one refrigeration cycle is used; absorption refrigeration, where the refrigerant is dissolved in a liquid before it is compressed; and a topic of special interest, thermoelectric refrigeration, where refrigeration is produced by passage of electric current through two dissimilar materials. So we introduce the concept of refrigerators, heat pumps, and measure their performance. Analyze ideal vapor refrigeration cycle. Analyze actual vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Review the factors involved in selecting the right refrigerant for an application. Discuss the operation of refrigeration and heat pump. Evaluate the performance of innovative vapor compression refrigeration system. Analyze gas refrigeration system. Introduce the concepts of absorption refrigeration system. Review the concepts of thermoelectric power generation and refrigeration. So first we'll start refrigerator and heat pumps. So this is your refrigerator, this is your heat pump. So cold refrigerator space, heat is removed, QL. It is removed with the help of this your refrigerator, which will need work input WNet, and this heat is sent to the VAR environment, which is QH, to the high temperature environment. So we all know that experience that heat flows in a direction of decreasing temperature, that is from high temperature regions to low temperature ones. This heat transfer process occurs in nature without requiring any device. The reverse process, however, cannot occur by itself. The transfer of heat from a low temperature region to a high temperature one requires special devices called refrigerators. Refrigerators are cyclic devices, and the working fluid used in refrigerator cycles are called refrigerants. A refrigerator is shown schematically in figure here. Here QL is the magnitude of heat removed from the refrigerator space at temperature TL, and QH is the magnitude of heat rejected to the VAR space at temperature TH. So in case of refrigerator, this we had discussed. Another device, which is your heat pump, which take heat from low temperature medium and transfer it to high temperature. So heat pump takes heat from cold environment QL, and it will transfer to house to make it more warmer. It will transfer this Q heat to the house, and heat pump required WNet work output. So refrigerator and heat pump are essentially the same, the only different in their objective. In case of refrigeration, we need to maintain the cold space. In case of heat pump, we need to, our focus in the warm space. We have to make warm space more warm and comfortable by supplying the heat. So discharging this heat to higher temperature medium is merely a necessary part of operation, not the purpose. The objective of heat pump, however, is to maintain a heated space at a high temperature. This is accomplished by absorbing heat from a low temperature source, such as well as water or cold outside air in winter, and supplying this heat to warmer medium such as house. The performance of refrigerator heat pumps is expressed in terms of coefficient of performance, which is desired output by the required input. In this case, desired output is QL, input is WNet. In this case of heat pump, desired output is QH, where work input is WNet. So you can see they're different by this much amount. COP of heat pump is equal to COP refrigeration plus 1, means the heat pump in the worst case having at least one COP. This relation implies that COP heat pump is greater than 1. Since COP is positive quantity, that is, a heat pump functions at worst as a resistance heater, supplying a much energy to the house as it consumes. In reality, however, part of QH is lost to the outside air through piping and other device, and COP may drop below unity when the outside air temperature is too low. When this happens, the system normally switches to fuel, natural gas, propane, oil, etc. or resistance heating mode. The reverse Carnot cycle. The Carnot cycle is totally reversible cycle that consists of two reversible isothermal and two isentropic process. it has maximum thermal efficiency for a given temperature limits, and it serves as a standard against which actual power cycle can be compared. Since it is a reversible cycle, all four processes that comprise the Carnot cycle can be reversed. Reversing the cycle does also reverse the directions of any heat and work interaction. So you can see here the normal Carnot cycle is in this direction, but we had reversed the Carnot cycle direction from here 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. So the result is a cycle that operates in counterclockwise direction of TS diagram, which is called the reverse Carnot cycle. A refrigerator or heat pump that operates on the reverse Carnot cycle is called Carnot refrigerator or a Carnot heat pump. So consider this here. So from QL amount of heat is taken at one point, and then this you can say fluid will convert into at 2 point. It means it's this dome has two-phase mixture of the fluid. So at 2 your dryness fraction of the vapor is more. From 2 to 3 vapor is compressed in the you can say at this from 2 to 3, and from 3 to 4 your heat is a rejection into the condenser, which you can see here a warm medium at TH, and from 4 to 1 it is expansion takes place. Usually we use turbine for the expansion in the Carnot cycle, but in actual cycle, let's see what we use. We use this some sort of expansion device. So 4 to 1 is your expansion. So this is your reverse Carnot cycle. The refrigerant absorbs heat isothermally from a low temperature source at TL. This is the TL in the amount of QL, and heat is taken in the amount of QL from process 1 to 2. Is compressed isentropically to state 3 to raise temperature to AH, and rejects heat isothermally to a high temperature sinks TH while maintaining the temperature constant here, and expand isentropically to state 1 and temperature drops from TH to TL. So the refrigerant changes from a saturated vapor state to a saturated liquid state in the condenser during process 3-4. So during 3-4 your refrigerant change from saturated vapor stage to saturated liquid state. So that is why this process is also called condensation, means change of vapor into liquid form in the condenser. COP of Carnot engine, Carnot refrigeration cycle, and COP of heat pump based on Carnot cycle. Notice that both COP increase as the difference between two temperature decrease, that is TL rises and TH falls. The reverse Carnot cycle is most efficient refrigeration cycle operating between two specific limits. Therefore, it is natural to look at it first as a perspective of ideal cycle for refrigerators and heat pumps. But there are drawbacks. The drawback is the process 1 and 2 and 3-4 can be approached closely in actual evaporation condensers. Means this 1 and 2 and 3 is possible, but 2 to 3 is not possible. However, process 2 to 3 and 4 to 1 cannot be approximated closely in practice. This is because process 2 to 3 involves the compression of liquid vapor mixture, which requires a compressor that will handle two phase. So at 2 through had vapor liquid mixture, for if you need a compressor which can compress this two phase, and it is not possible to achieve this in actual case. Also this 4 to 1, which is turbine of expansion, it is also 4 to 1 cannot be approximated closely in practice. This is because process 2 to 3 involves the completion of liquid vapor mixture, which requires a compressor that will handle two phase, and process 4 to 1 involves the expansion of high moisture content refrigerant in turbine. So if you expand here from 4 to 1, so you can see here it is two phase mixture, which will also lead to the you can say loss of the you can say performance of turbine. It will erode the turbine blades. So however, the reverse Carnot cycle can serve as a saturated standard against the actual refrigeration cycle, but it can't be used. We can use this cycle with little modification. So that is the ideal vapor compression refrigeration cycle. Now in this cycle, the compressor inlet is your saturated vapor. This point means 1 instead of in case of Carnot reverse Carnot cycle, which is this 2 point, which is two phase. We shifted this 2 point from here to at you can say vapor line, saturated vapor line. Now the inlet of compressor is 1, and after compression you will go to at 2 point, which is superheated vapor region. From 2 to 3 this is your condenser, and from 3 to 4 instead of turbine we use a simple expansion valve which saves the cost. So this 3 to 4 is your expansion. So many implications associated with the reverse Carnot cycle can be eliminated by vaporizing the refrigerant completely before it is compressed, and by replacing the turbine with a throttling device such as an expansion valve or capillary tube. The cycle that results is called ideal vapor compression efficiency cycle, and it is shown schematically. So these are 4 processes. 1 to 2 isentropic compression is compressor, 2 to 3 constant pressure heat rejection in condenser, 3 to 4 throttling and expansion valve, and 4 to 1 constant pressure heat absorption in an evaporator. So after the compression from 1 to 2, this 2 temperature is well above the surrounding temperature. So the isentropic compression process, the above temperature after the end of the compression is the temperature of surrounding medium, which is well above the surrounding medium. The refrigerant then enters the condenser as superheated vapor at state 2 and leaves the saturated liquid at state 3 as a result of heat rejection surrounding. The temperature of the refrigerant at this state is still above the temperature of the surrounding. The saturated liquid refrigerant at state 3 is throttled to the evaporator pressure by passing it through an expansion valve or capillary tube. The temperature of refrigerant drops below the temperature of refrigerant space during this process. During expansion, means from 3 to 4, the temperature here is below than the refrigerator space. Suppose room temperature is space, you have to say space the cabin temperature is suppose 10 degrees Celsius. So after the expansion, the refrigerant temperature should be like -20 or it should be like -10 degrees Celsius, so that it can be used for to fulfill the to take heat, to convert water into ice, and to make the your food and products at the refrigerated level. So the refrigerant leaves the evaporator as a saturated vapor and re-enters the compressor, completing the cycle. From 4 to 1 heat is absorbed and your refrigerant which is in the mixture form will convert to superheated vapor form, and it will leave the refrigerator and it will enter to the compressor. So here is pH diagram for the same cycle. So 1 to 2, this is your isentropic process. Pressure is raised from P1 to P2. Then 2 to 3 is your condensation process in condenser at constant pressure. So P2 and P3 are same. 3 to 4 is your isentropic expansion in expansion valve. During this 3 to 4 enthalpy is constant while pressure will reduce. And 4 to 1 is your at constant pressure heat addition in the condenser, in the evaporator, not condenser, it is evaporator. Heat is taken from the evaporator and your liquid will convert from this mixture to the superheated vapor, and then it will go again enter into the compressor. All the 4 components associated with the vapor compression efficiency cycle are steady flow devices, and thus all 4 processes that make up the cycle can be analyzed as steady flow process. For steady flow process, this is the equation: Q in minus Q out plus work in minus work out is equal to heat at exhaust exit minus heat enthalpy at inlet. The condenser and evaporator do not involve any work, and the compressor end can be approximated as adiabatic. Then the COP of refrigerator and heat pumps operating on vapor cycle refrigeration is, that is COP of refrigerator is equal to heat taken from the cooled space divided by work supplied to the compressor, which is H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. So this is your desired effect, which is H1 minus H4, and enthalpy change during compression is H2 minus H1. In case of a heat pump, desired effect is heating and work supplied is W net. So work supplied is same, but desired effect is QH, which is H2 minus H3. So H2 minus H3, this is your desired effect. So this is up to here the refrigeration cycle. Subscribe this channel, like this video, and thank you for watching this video.